Imagine standing on the edge of a silent abyss, the world's chaos fading behind you. No noise, no distractions, just you and the thoughts in your mind, many of which whisper doubt, fear, and anger. How often have you allowed these thoughts to dictate your path? How often have you succumbed to negativity, letting it corrode your willpower and cloud your vision? Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." If you're ready to reclaim your mind and reshape your destiny, then understand this. Transformation begins within. It begins now. And it begins with the timeless principles of Stoicism that have guided warriors, leaders, and seekers of truth for centuries. We will walk this path together, uncovering 12 Stoic principles that, if applied immediately, can forge a version of you that is unshakable. A version of you who doesn't crumble under pressure, who doesn't surrender to despair, and who lives with a calm, unwavering purpose. Are you ready to begin? Let's start Principle 1, Master your perception. Our perception shapes our reality. Two people can experience the same event, yet their reactions may be polar opposites. Why? Because perception, how we interpret and respond to what happens, is within our control. Epictetus, the freed slave turned philosopher, declared, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Think about this. You're walking down the street, and someone insults you. The words sting. Your heart races. A familiar surge of anger rises. But stop. What if you choose not to let those words control you? What if you perceive the insult as just noise, meaningless and powerless unless you assign it power? By mastering your perception, you decide what affects you and what does not. You become the gatekeeper of your mind, allowing only what serves you to enter. Negative thinking loses its grip because it finds no fertile ground within you. Instead, you cultivate clarity, calmness, and strength. When you realize that nothing can harm you without your consent, you step into a level of freedom few ever achieve. The mind adapts and converts to its own purposes the obstacle to our acting. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Marcus Aurelius, mastering your perception means transforming every challenge into an opportunity for growth. See things as they are, not worse than they are. Choose the lens through which you view life, and you will find that most problems dissolve before they ever manifest. Principle 2. Embrace the dichotomy of control. In life, there are two categories of things, those within our control and those beyond it. The moment we truly grasp this, we unlock the chains of anxiety and frustration. Epictetus reminds us, some things are up to us, and some are not up to us. This is the dichotomy of control, a Stoic principle that clears the fog of confusion and directs our energy wisely. We cannot control external events, the actions of others, or the twists of fate, but we can control our responses, our judgments, and our actions. Picture a storm raging around you. You can't stop the wind or rain, but you can steady yourself, take shelter, or choose to walk through it with unwavering resolve. When we fixate on what we cannot control, we invite stress and despair. We hand over our power to the whims of the world. But when we focus on what we can control, our attitude, our effort, our choices, we regain our autonomy. We become architects of our own lives. When someone betrays you, you can't change their actions, but you can decide not to let their betrayal shatter your peace. When you face a setback, you can't always change the circumstances, but you can determine how you rise from it. In this balance of acceptance and action lies freedom. By embracing the dichotomy of control, we relinquish the impossible burden of controlling everything and step into a state of empowered calm. We choose clarity over chaos, fortitude over frustration, focus on what's within your command, and let go of the rest. Principle 3. Practice voluntary discomfort. Comfort in excess weakens the spirit. It makes us fragile, unprepared for the inevitable hardships of life. The Stoics knew this well, which is why they practiced voluntary discomfort. Seneca, the Roman statesman and philosopher, advised, "Set aside a certain number of days during which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare, with coarse and rough dress, saying to yourself the while, 'Is this the condition that I feared?'" Why would anyone willingly endure discomfort? Because in doing so, we train ourselves to be resilient. We strip away the illusions of need and realize how little we require to survive and thrive. By periodically stepping out of our comfort zones, we strengthen our capacity to face real adversity. Imagine sleeping on the floor instead of your bed for a week, skipping a meal, or braving the cold without a coat. These simple acts remind us that discomfort is not fatal. It's transformative. When life inevitably brings hardship, it will not catch us off guard. We will face it, not with dread, but with the quiet confidence of one who has already conquered discomfort. Practicing voluntary discomfort reveals the extent of our inner power. It teaches us that our fears are often baseless, and our dependence on luxury is a choice, not a necessity. We realize that true strength comes not from what we possess, but from what we can endure. It is in times of security that the spirit should be preparing itself for difficult times. While fortune is bestowing favors on it, then is the time for it to be strengthened against her rebuffs. Seneca Principle 4. Master your emotions. Emotions are powerful forces. They can drive us to greatness or drag us into destruction. A Stoic understands that unrestrained emotions lead to ruin, while mastery over them leads to freedom. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Our emotions are not the problem. It is the lack of control over them that breeds chaos. Anger flares up like a wildfire, consuming reason and leaving behind ashes of regret. Fear can paralyze us, preventing action. Jealousy gnaws at the spirit, turning admiration into bitterness. But these emotions lose their power when we refuse to let them dictate our actions. The Stoic does not deny emotions, but observes them. Imagine standing at the edge of a cliff, watching waves crash below. You do not jump into the chaos, you stand firm, grounded. When anger or fear rises within you, step back. Breathe. Analyze the emotion like a scientist examining a specimen. Ask yourself, why do I feel this way? Is this emotion justified? Often you'll find the answer is no. Seneca teaches, a man is as unhappy as he has convinced himself he is. In mastering our emotions, we reclaim our happiness. We understand that external events do not dictate how we feel. Our perception does. We choose not to be swept away by destructive feelings, but to respond with clarity and reason. When we master our emotions, we become immovable. We rise above the turmoil of life, watching its storms with unshakable calm. True power lies not in suppressing feelings, but in guiding them with wisdom and purpose. Principle 5. Focus on what you can control. The world is chaotic, unpredictable, and often indifferent to our desires. We waste precious energy worrying about things beyond our control. A true Stoic understands that freedom lies in distinguishing between what is within their power and what is not. Epictetus said it best, "Some things are up to us, and some are not up to us." What can we control? Our thoughts, our actions, and our attitudes. What can we not control? The actions of others, the outcomes of events, and the twists of fate. Yet most of our anxiety stems from trying to manipulate what lies outside our grasp. This is a battle we cannot win, a futile pursuit that breeds frustration and despair. Imagine standing in the rain. You cannot stop the storm, but you can choose how to respond. You can curse the sky, or you can embrace the rain, adapting to it with calm acceptance. This distinction is liberating. When we focus solely on what we can control, our lives simplify. Our burdens lighten. Think of the sailor navigating turbulent seas. He cannot control the wind or waves, but he can adjust his sails and steer his vessel. Likewise, in the face of life's challenges, we adjust our mindset, respond with wisdom, and remain steady. When we master this principle, we free ourselves from unnecessary suffering. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Focus on your responses, your decisions, and your discipline. Everything else is just noise. Principle 6. Practice voluntary discomfort. We live in a world of comfort and abundance. Modern life cushions us from pain, from hunger, from the extremes of nature. But comfort unchecked can become a prison. It dulls the edges of our resilience and weakens the strength of our will. The Stoics understood that to cultivate fortitude, we must practice discomfort. We must invite adversity into our lives, voluntarily and regularly. Seneca said, "Set aside now and then a number of days during which you will be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare, with coarse and rough dress, saying to yourself the while, 'Is this the condition that I feared?' Why would a wealthy Roman statesman willingly subject himself to poverty and simplicity? Because he knew that if he practiced enduring discomfort, the fear of hardship would lose its power. Voluntary discomfort is a training ground for the mind. By choosing to endure controlled challenges, cold showers, fasting, physical exertion, we prepare ourselves for the inevitable hardships of life. We develop a mental callus, a shield against the anxiety of the unknown. When real adversity strikes, we do not crumble, because we have already faced discomfort and survived. Furthermore, by embracing discomfort, we foster gratitude. When we experience the absence of luxury, we come to appreciate it more. When we voluntarily deny ourselves, we recognize how little we truly need to be content. It is in hardship that we discover the depths of our inner strength. This practice is not about masochism, it's about liberation. The fewer comforts we cling to, the less power they have over us. We become free, adaptable, and resilient. Principle 7. Control your perception. The world is not what it is how we see it. Every event, every encounter, and every challenge filters through the lens of our perception. What we often fail to realize is that our perception is within our control. It is not external reality that disturbs us, but our judgments about that reality. As Epictetus reminds us, men are disturbed not by things, but by the views which they take of them. We cannot control the chaos of the world, but we can control the meaning we assign to it. Imagine a sudden storm. One person curses it, blaming it for ruining their plans. Another marvels at the power of nature and uses the moment to find inner stillness. The storm remains the same, but the perceptions differ. And in that difference lies either suffering or peace. Stoicism teaches us to pause and question our perceptions. When anger rises, when frustration burns, ask, is this truly bad or is it just inconvenient? When fear clouds your mind, ask, am I reacting to reality or just to a story I've told myself? These simple questions can dismantle destructive emotions, returning you to a state of calm and reason. Marcus Aurelius, faced with endless pressures as a Roman emperor, practiced this diligently. In his meditations, he wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This is the essence of Stoic perception. Control the narrative within, and the storms outside lose their power. When we control our perception, we reclaim our peace. We transform obstacles into opportunities, setbacks into lessons. We see life not as a series of misfortunes, but as a path for growth. Principle 8. Embrace discomfort for growth. Comfort is a double-edged sword. It feels good in the moment, but too much of it can weaken our resolve, dull our spirit, and trap us in mediocrity. True growth, the kind that transforms lives, emerges from stepping into discomfort. Stoicism challenges us to lean into discomfort deliberately, for it is through these tests that we forge resilience and strength. Seneca, the great Stoic philosopher, practiced voluntary hardship to remain unshackled by comfort. He would sleep on hard floors, eat modest meals, and wear simple clothes. Why? To remind himself that luxury and comfort are not necessities, and that his happiness did not depend on them. He wrote, "Set aside now and then a number of days during which you will be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare, with coarse and rough dress, saying to yourself the while, 'Is this the condition that I feared?'" This principle is a call to voluntarily embrace discomfort. Fast for a day. Challenge your body with rigorous exercise. Expose yourself to the cold or heat. Face difficult conversations or tasks you'd rather avoid. These self-imposed challenges create a mental armor, teaching us that discomfort is temporary and, more importantly, survivable. When we embrace discomfort, we strip fear of its power. We realize that we are stronger than our cravings, tougher than our fears. The next time life throws an unexpected hardship your way, you'll meet it with a steady heart, knowing that you've already trained for this moment. In discomfort, we find the edge where true transformation happens. Principle 9. Control your reactions, not the world. The world around us is a chaotic storm, unpredictable, indifferent, and often unforgiving. People will wrong us, plans will fall apart, and circumstances will spiral beyond our control. In these moments, we often feel powerless. But the Stoics taught us a vital truth. While we cannot control external events, we can always control how we respond to them. Epictetus, a slave who became one of the most revered Stoic philosophers, said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. This principle challenges us to recognize that our reactions are the only thing fully within our command. No one can force you to feel anger, despair, or frustration. These are choices, often made in haste. And like any choice, they can be mastered. When an insult stings or a setback looms, pause. Breathe. Instead of reacting impulsively, ask yourself, is this within my control? If it is, take decisive action. If it isn't, let it go. This mental discipline transforms how we interact with the world. The chaos outside loses its grip on our inner peace because we've drawn a line. The outside world can act, but we alone decide how it affects us. Think of Marcus Aurelius, facing betrayal, war, and plague as emperor of Rome. Yet in his meditations he reminded himself, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. This is where true freedom lies, in mastering your reactions and never giving your peace away to circumstances you cannot control. Principle 10. Practice voluntary discomfort. We live in a world that often prioritizes comfort above all else. Modern life encourages us to seek convenience, ease, and pleasure at every turn. Yet the Stoics knew that comfort breeds complacency. They believed that to grow stronger, we must willingly embrace discomfort. This principle is a deliberate challenge to the mind and body, a way to build resilience before life forces it upon us. Seneca practiced this by living among the poor, wearing simple clothes, and eating meager meals, even though he was one of Rome's wealthiest men. He wrote, "Set aside a certain number of days, during which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare, with coarse and rough dress, saying to yourself the while, 'Is this the condition that I feared?'" This practice isn't about self-punishment, it's about preparation. When we choose discomfort, we inoculate ourselves against fear. We learn that we can survive hardship, that the loss of luxury does not mean the loss of life. By occasionally denying ourselves excess, we strip away illusions and reveal what truly matters. Try it. Sleep on the floor for a night, take cold showers, or go a day without your favorite foods. These small acts of discomfort expand your capacity for endurance. They remind us that our strength doesn't lie in what we own, but in what we can withstand. When you can face discomfort voluntarily, you become unshakable when life delivers it involuntarily. Principle 11. Control what you can, accept what you can't. One of the most liberating truths in Stoicism is understanding the line between what we can control and what we cannot. This simple yet profound principle brings clarity to our lives. Marcus Aurelius said it best, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. We often exhaust ourselves fighting battles that were never ours to fight. We attempt to control people's opinions, the outcomes of situations, or the tides of fortune. These are illusions of control, traps that ensnare us in anxiety, frustration, and disappointment. Instead, the Stoics teach us to focus our energy solely on what is within our grasp, our thoughts, actions, and reactions. Everything else is beyond our power. By accepting this truth, we free ourselves from the burden of the uncontrollable. We become architects of our inner world, fortified against the chaos of the outer one. Next time you face uncertainty, ask yourself, is this within my control? If the answer is no, let it go. If the answer is yes, act with intention, wisdom, and purpose. This is where true freedom lies, not in controlling the world, but in mastering ourselves within it. Principle 12. Embrace adversity as growth. The Stoics understood something that modern life often forgets. Adversity is not a curse, but a crucible for growth. Life's hardships, its trials and tribulations, are not obstacles to avoid, but opportunities to develop virtue. Seneca wisely remarked, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." In times of suffering or challenge, the natural reaction is often to seek escape, to wish for a reprieve from pain. But the Stoic perspective offers a transformative view. Adversity is not an enemy, but a teacher. Through hardship, we cultivate qualities such as resilience, patience, and wisdom. It is in the darkest moments that our true strength is forged. When faced with difficulty, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I grow stronger from this experience? Each challenge you face is an opportunity to practice virtues that elevate your character and build fortitude. It is in embracing adversity, rather than running from it, that we discover our capacity for greatness. As you move forward in life, Remember that suffering is not something to avoid. It is the fuel that powers your transformation. Conclusion. The path of transformation. These 12 Stoic principles are not abstract theories. They are practical tools for immediate transformation. They call us to a higher standard, a life of resilience, wisdom, and virtue. By applying these principles, we forge an unbreakable inner fortress, capable of withstanding any storm. Remember the words of Epictetus: we cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them. Every moment is an opportunity to practice Stoicism. Every challenge is a chance to grow stronger. So, let us walk this path together, embracing self-control, overcoming destructive emotions, and striving for fortitude. In doing so, we not only transform ourselves, but we inspire those around us to do the same. If this video resonated with you, like the video, subscribe to The Modern Stoic, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Let us know which Stoic principle you're applying today, and inspire others to follow the path of resilience.